How much should you worry about getting sick when it starts to get cold? In the US alone, there are about a billion cases of this illness each year. Will you be next? In this video, I will tell you all the things you need to know, such as if cold temperatures make you get a cold and how you can limit getting the cold. By the end of this video, I will provide you with tips on how you can feel better faster, so I urge you to stay to the end. The first thing you should know is that the common cold is caused by viruses, mainly the human rhinovirus or HRV. There are over 150 types of this virus, and they are identified by their different surface proteins. You are likely to come into contact with millions of viruses each day, such as from public restrooms, door handles, buses and airplanes, basically any place that could have contaminated surfaces. During cooler temperatures, when it is cold and flu season, these areas are likely to be even more contaminated. You can get infected from viruses when you are around an infected person who is coughing and sneezing. Because you are in contact with so many viruses, you can become infected with the rhinovirus and develop a cold. There are many ways in which the rhinovirus will make it to your nose and mouth, either by you touching your face, mouth, or nose, or if someone is sneezing around you. During cooler temperatures, when the air is less humid, the viruses that are spread through the air from someone coughing or sneezing linger in the air for a longer period of time, as there is not enough moisture in the air to weigh them down. This increases the chance of you coming into contact with the virus. Your nose is the perfect place for the virus to replicate because it is slightly cooler than most of your body. Your nose is about 89 degrees Fahrenheit or 32 degrees Celsius. It is even cooler when you are exposed to lower temperatures. It takes as little as 15 minutes for the virus to infect a cell in your nose, which leads to the creation of more viruses, which will lead to the infection spreading more quickly in your nose. Once it begins infecting your nose, the virus can spread to your lungs and create an infection there. Is the way that I am describing what causes the common cold confusing? If this is making sense, comment yes below, or no if it is not making sense. Even though you are infected with the virus, it usually takes 2 to 4 days for symptoms to appear, so you could be sick right now and not know it. People who are asymptomatic can spread the common cold, so could you be infecting others without knowing it? The second thing you should know is what is going on inside your body and how symptoms develop in the first place. As the infection is spreading in your nose and respiratory tract, the virus is infecting epithelial cells. In contrast to round cells, epithelial cells are more rectangular shaped and secrete enzymes and mucus. The virus gets into the cell through the intercellular adhesion molecule 1, or ICAM1, and uses the cell to make more viruses. As cells become infected, they release chemical signals such as cytokines and chemokines to communicate to immune cells that the body has been invaded. To see my video on how the immune cells, or white blood cells, are able to respond to these signals, click the card in the upper right-hand corner. The link to the video will also be in the description. When your body is cold, your blood vessels shrink, which is known as vasoconstriction. This can make it more difficult for the white blood cells to travel to the sites of infection. If this were to happen, it could increase your chances of getting sick from the rhinovirus. But there are other things that contribute as well. When the white blood cells reach the infected cells, they are able to detect that the cells are different or foreign. The white blood cells, particularly the natural killer cells and T cells, begin to kill the infected cell, which in turn is able to kill the virus. After being infected with the virus for about a week, you will develop antibodies against the virus. These antibodies can neutralize the virus so it is unable to infect cells. Immunity only lasts for a year, which means that you can get sick from the same virus over and over again. To see my video on how the immune cells are able to identify healthy and infected cells, click the card in the upper right-hand corner. The link to the video will also be in the description. Epithelial cells secrete mucus as a way to get rid of the virus and prevent infection. That is why you will experience a runny nose. The mucus on the surface of these cells prevent the virus from infecting the cells. However, when you are exposed to cooler temperatures, the environment is less humid and your mucus tends to dry out, which allows the virus to better infect your cells. Because the sun is not in the sky as much during late fall through early spring, your body does not have the chance to produce as much vitamin D. There are vitamin D receptors on white blood cells, and these cells do not work as efficiently when your body lacks vitamin D. This gives the virus more of an opportunity to make you sick. The third thing you should know is what increases your chances of being infected. Especially during cold temperatures, rhinoviruses are actually difficult to get rid of. They can survive on surfaces for up to 2 days, although their ability to infect you decreases the longer they are there. This virus has a tough outer coat, which is resistant to heat, acid, and soaps. The outer coat is even harder when the temperature drops, which can make it difficult to sterilize surfaces. More people travel during the holiday season, and this coincides with colder temperatures. This increases the chance of you running into someone who is sick or encountering contaminated surfaces from infected individuals. When it is cold outside, most people tend to stay indoors, such as around the fireplace. And with more people in the same space, the greater the chance of a sick person causing others to get sick as well. So how can you know for sure if the symptoms you have are caused by a cold? The fourth thing you should know are the symptoms associated with a common cold. Symptoms usually appear 2 to 4 days after the start of infections and last 7 to 14 days. This differs from person to person. A lot of the symptoms are due to the mucus accumulating in your nose and throat. Usually you experience a runny nose, sneezing, sore throat, congestion, and coughing. You may also experience aches and pains and the feeling of being tired. You may develop a fever as your body is trying to eliminate the virus. Remember that the rhinovirus grows best at lower temperatures. If you have specific questions about the virus or the symptoms associated with the common cold, such as how the immune system may contribute to these symptoms, comment below and I will answer them. So now that you know the symptoms, do you know how you can limit or prevent your exposure to the cold virus in the first place? The fifth thing you should know are ways you can prevent your exposure to the common cold. It is good practice to be aware of the things you are touching and to avoid rubbing your eyes and nose if your hands are dirty. It is a good idea to wash your hands frequently throughout the day. If you are unable to wash your hands, consider using some alcohol-based hand sanitizer. For it to be most effective, it needs to be 60% alcohol. During the colder months, it is more important than ever to take care of yourself. When you are healthy, your body will be better able to fight off infections. Be sure to get plenty of rest, eat healthy foods, and work out. To better prevent spreading the cold, cough and sneeze into your elbow. Remember that you could have the cold even though you are not showing any symptoms. If you are concerned about getting the cold from sick individuals, consider wearing a face mask. There are different kinds, so make sure you use the correct one. There are also ways to limit the spread of the virus in your home. Rhinoviruses are difficult to get rid of. but there are several things you can do to better sterilize objects and surfaces. When it comes to washing clothes and bed sheets, be sure to wash them at the hottest setting with some detergent. Rhinoviruses are pretty resistant to heat. For example, it takes a couple of hours at 113 degrees Fahrenheit or 45 degrees Celsius to eliminate the virus. This is about as long as a normal washing and drying cycle. If there is any doubt, you can rinse the clothes again or dry them for a little bit longer. You can soak toothbrushes in vinegar or sterilize them in your dishwasher. If the toothbrushes are old or if you were really sick, consider throwing them away and getting new ones. Disinfect surfaces that could be contaminated, such as light switches, door handles, and sinks. You could use a disinfectant wipe to clean these surfaces. These wipes can also be used to clean remote controls, computers, phones, and tablets. So now that you have a better idea on ways to limit getting the virus, what are some ways to feel better fast when you are sick? The sixth thing you should know are ways to feel better faster. I know that everyone is different, so results may vary. I also want to warn you to not take antibiotics unless they are prescribed by your doctor when you are suffering from a cold. The common cold is caused by a virus, and antibiotics are only effective for some bacteria. One thing that helps to relieve aches and pains, as well as congestion, is to take a hot bath or shower. If you find that this really helps your sinuses or congestion, consider using a humidifier to make you feel better faster when you are sick. Another way to relieve aches and pains in your body is to take some over-the-counter pain reliever. Make sure that you take the recommended dose and check with your doctor before starting any new medications. Be sure to drink plenty of water. You will want to make sure you are hydrated. Drinking hot tea with honey will make your sore throat feel better and clear up congestion. It was recently found that chocolate helps to lessen the severity of coughs, so drinking hot cocoa will offer some sweet relief. Another method to making your sore throat feel better is to gargle with mouthwash or warm salt water. Throat sprays will also help to numb the pain. Eating hot soup, especially chicken noodle soup, will help soothe your throat and it will help you feel better faster. You are the most contagious during the first 2 to 4 days of infection, right as symptoms are cropping up. During this time, you need as much rest as possible. Not only will that help you feel better faster, but it will limit the amount of people that you spread the virus to. I want to make it clear that the common cold is caused by a virus. We encounter this virus frequently throughout the year, but it affects us the most during colder temperatures. The environmental changes give the virus an advantage. If you love the information that I have been giving you, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell because my next video will be just as interesting. I put some videos on the screen for you to watch as they will provide you with more context about immunology. I look forward to answering your questions in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching this video.